Got to say something first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't, mention a friend of mine, former colleague of mine, Sean Clark, and the passing and the news that we had, a day and a half ago. So just want to tell his family that they're certainly in our thoughts and prayers, and we love them, and hope that they can navigate a difficult time like this.
Thanks for sharing, Coach. Go ahead.
Garrett, as you look back on the Syracuse game, just kind of big picture takeaways for a lot of yards but not a lot of points. How does that kind of go down in your head?
I feel like it's hard to do, to move the ball like that, and obviously the name of the game is points, and we gotta find ways to certainly score and be much better at that. So, I think there's some good takeaways. There's some positives certainly that we just got to build on. Is certainly in a bye week where it's kind of reset mode anyway, and kind of starting fresh from that standpoint. Starting tomorrow with our guys, with the full practice. So, yeah, at the end of the day, we know we have to score more.
How would you kind of evaluate this offense 4 games in?
Been kind of some strange games, for us, and just kind of our style of play to only have 60 plays basically in the first 3 games, 60, 60, and 60. And then this game you get a lot more plays, and you're kind of in a hole and you're playing catch up and all that the second half, and kind of had to go almost 2-minute mode, in the third quarter just because of the style of game it was. So it's been tough from a rhythm standpoint, I think, with some of the just situations that we've put ourselves in collectively as a team. So, some of that's hard to say right now, but we certainly just, got to keep chipping away at the execution and the toughness that our team needs, and that's what we'll be fighting for this week and a bye week for sure.
Garrett, Dabo has said that there have been a lot of layups missed by Cade, and I'm just wondering, as you evaluate the 4 games and you see the frequency of open receivers that have, I guess, schemed open, and Cade's not seeing them, evidently. How much of a surprise is that, and how do you help get him out of that?
Yeah, that's the challenge for us as coaches. You always want to put them in the best position possible, and I think just the reality is the way in which we've come up short as a team in some of these games thus far has probably affected us too much. So I think that's been a message for me with Cade and certainly with our side of the football is like we've got to learn to have more of a short-term memory. You know what I mean? And that's easier said than done. This has been an emotional, few weeks with just the style of games that we've had and coming up a bit short. So, you got young people and you're having to battle through all that together. And that's what I told our guys yesterday is like we're going to have y'all's back no matter what, and we just got to find ways to keep swinging and learn from this and really apply the short-term memory mindset of just moving on quicker, and I think just if we do that collectively and don't let one bad play or one negative play kind of compound as the game goes on, then I think we'll be in a much better spot.
Is the call to go with Vizzina, is that your call, Dabo's call, collaboration, and how close have y'all been so far to?
I think always those sort of decisions are a collaboration, but no, we haven't been close to that yet.
And kind of going back, I went back and looked at a lot of Cade's 2024 highlights, and there was that one throw to Cole Turner against Stanford where inside linebacker kind of comes on what looked like maybe a stun or a blitz. His feet are set, hangs in there, throws a strike. Haven't seen that a lot this year where the mechanics are really good. He doesn't flush himself. Even Saturday, there were times when the pocket was clean, but he got happy feet. Is that fixable in season? How do you help him with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think you just got to keep pointing it out and working that and trusting and showing him the times where he has done it, because there has been times where he has stood in there, this year and has made some good plays within the pocket. But you just got to continue to have trust and up front and where your eyes need to be and just really basic routine stuff and what we require at the quarterback position. So, again, I think a lot of times maybe some bad things or some inopportune stuff happens in the game, and you just kind of let that linger too much. And that's just kind of what I've seen, so at times with him and just our offense in general is we got to move on quicker. Like, we really got to have that short-term memory.
And then I'm kind of also struck me a little bit in terms of helping him, where he breaks out of the pocket the past couple of games, and he's waiting for somebody to kind of make a play downfield, and it looks like the receivers are just not trying to get open or separate themselves or come back to help him. Have you seen that, to where the receivers have to be more of a help to him?
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of get into a scramble drill situation, as we call it as coaches. It's actually something you rep it in fall camp, and you try and build that in your practice plan. And we've got guys that need to separate a little bit more when those situations arise. I mean, that's where we feel like there's some big plays to be had with a guy like Cade that can scramble and can throw on the run and create. And he made a couple the other day that created and resulted in a touchdown. The one to him and Adam Randall really was what turned into be a scramble drill. So, yeah, we've got to be better there. Like, we're leaving too much meat on the bone in some of those situations, I feel like.
So you talk about not lingering on things, but just confidence-wise, I mean, do you feel like that's something you guys still have to build?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think just the reality of coming up a bit short in a few of these games and tight games and obviously emotional type games, you got to bounce back from that. And so that's constantly a battle you're always going to have with your team. But, I think us as coaches, we got to set the tone with that and let them know that we believe in them and we got their back and we're going to go find a way and we're going to keep swinging. And so I think I think it starts with us kind of leading that charge. But, I think we have confident people. I think we just got to understand that we got to keep swinging and keep chipping away.
How do you feel like the running back rotation has gone this year? Do you feel like you wish you'd given more opportunities to Gideon and Easy?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wish we would have gotten them more snaps. Again, some of it's the not many plays in the first 3 games and the way that those went. And then, certainly in this game, I wish we would have probably rolled them a little bit more, certainly in the second half. Like I said, it kind of became a tempo second half and almost a 2-minute drill, it felt like, for most of that second half. But, yeah, I wish we would have got those guys in there a little bit more for sure.
Gideon specifically is a well-regarded recruit. Just what have you seen from him this year, and what's the key to keeping him involved and finding ways for him to contribute?
Yeah, we got to continue to get a package or just get him rolling in there earlier, and I think that'll be a plan for sure moving forward, is to really roll those guys earlier. Adam's done a great job. Obviously, he's been a great spark for us, and his story's unbelievable, and he's playing his ass off. But I think he played about 80 plays or so the other day, so we just got to help him that way too. It's a long season for a guy like that, so we got to collectively help that unit.
With the tight end room, do you feel like they've been as involved as you'd like? You want to see that kind of get more as the season progresses?
Yeah, I mean, again, balance for me is ball distribution. I know we had a lot of people, and now we threw the ball 60 times the other day, so we had quite a few people catch the ball. But, yeah, I think that group has shown production when they've had opportunities, and I think, hopefully those opportunities will grow for them as a whole, because I think they can handle it. They've, all 3 of those guys that have really played in that room have shown some production, some good things that they're doing. So I trust them for sure.
When you're evaluating your performance as a schemer and a play caller and all that, how much do you balance, hey, I put them in the right positions here, versus, well, dang, I should have done this there? If that makes any sense.
I mean, you always have things that you would want back. I can think of a lot of games where we've probably been rolling and scored a bunch that day, and I've wished we had some things back. So you're always going to have that. But, yeah, I mean, we're always going to self-evaluate and be brutally honest within ourselves. I mean, you have to do that if you want to adapt, if you want to continue to grow, if you want to get better. And so we certainly have to do that as coaches. That's no secret, and we got to do it as players as well.
What does Tristan Smith need to do to get on the field more?
So he's really done a lot better job in the last couple of weeks of just some of the detail things, what we ask him to do in practice, and some of the consistency that way. But, yeah, you saw what he did, and he's I don't know if surprising is the right word, but, like, he's really good with the ball in his hands. For being a a 6'5" guy. You usually don't think of that style of play with those sort of receivers that are that way. But, yeah, he really does. He does some good things with the ball in his hands. So I think he's starting to earn more trust, just from a consistency level of knowing what to do and assignment-wise. So I definitely look to see him getting more and more as this season goes on. I was excited to see him make a nice play the other day. That was awesome.
Coach, I mentioned, I guess, the disconnect from the offense having success in practice and not translating into to game day, I guess. What are kind of some things that you feel like are contributing to some of those, I guess, woes? That's why it isn't translating.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a hard question, I mean, obviously we would love to pinpoint that. I just think a lot of it is honestly just the playing loose and playing free and playing within our system and trusting one another and like just doing that on game day, because when we do that, as I see it in practice, as I look back on, last season when we were playing well, I felt like offensively, I mean, I think that's when we're at our best. And so, even through the struggle, even through some tough times right now, I think it always kind of comes back to that of just going out and playing confidently and playing loose and trusting one another. And I think when we do that, you create more fun, you create more opportunity for everybody. And, I think you can get in a rhythm more consistently that way.
Cade's spoken in the past about how he enjoys playing in tempo. Do you see a noticeable difference in his confidence when you guys are able to get into tempo?
I do think some of the production is good when we do it, and I think from a skill standpoint, from the offensive line of just kind of getting lined up, getting the call and going, I think is certainly a weapon of ours that we may need to build on for sure. But I do think he does well in those situations. Yeah, I mean, just in the 2.5 years or whatever I've been with him, like just overall, I think he's comfortable in that style of play.
A lot of the people, like former players who were analysts and stuff like that, would say after the first few weeks, Clemson's offense doesn't have a lot of that eye candy. That's the popular term, right? The pre-snap motion and everything. But I think we've seen probably a little bit more of that in the past couple of weeks, and getting Tyler Brown, coming into like an orbit motion and getting a pass. Is that true? Have you decided to kind of incorporate more of that kind of pre-snap movement?
Well, I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 a little bit. Like at times you do want to have the window dressing and try and create eye violations and try and make it hard on the defense, but at the same time, you got to be mindful of not, maybe making it harder on you, specifically with the O-line. The more movement there is, the more the boxing changes for them, especially if you're talking about running game. But, yeah, I mean, I think utilizing that and having that as a tool within our system is certainly has been good to us the last couple of games. But, I also think we got to do what we do, too, and do what we've been practicing and doing, finding ways to really just get in the rhythm and get in the flow of the game better than what we have in these first couple of games.
You mentioned kind of refining some of the details. Do you feel like maybe some of the pre-snap penalties have been kind of drives back that have started positive but then kind of get behind the chains?
They'll certainly hurt. Yeah, I mean, whether it's that, whether it's you drop a ball. I mean, there's just been a number of things that have halted some drives. But yeah, I mean, we certainly got to cut those out. I mean, those are just kind of momentum killers with the drive. So we certainly got to improve in that area.
On the touchdown to Bryant, on mesh concept in this past game, what did you see on that play and what did you like about that call?
I like that it scored. So I liked that part. I mean, they brought a blitz. Adam had to kind of pick up on the backside edge, and Cade kind of had to drift it by a little bit of time there. We were just a little too soft on both edges, really, on that protection. But Cade kind of had to drift and let it clear, and Wesco found a way to get over there in time. So I thought that was awesome to cap off. I think that was a pretty long series. I think that was Brian's second one. I think it's the one you're mentioning. So yeah, it was good to punch it in there off of a long drive.
Any questions for Coach virtually? No, anybody else in the room?
Kind of evaluating the end of half Hail Mary attempt, just that whole situation, the game management. What did you think about that looking back? Do you feel like you guys did everything in hindsight that you should have done? Or?
Yeah, I mean, We had 5 seconds left, and we felt like if they were going to allow us to just get a few yards there and still get out of bounds, then let's do it, and then we can make that decision whether or not to throw a Hail Mary or whether to potentially try a long field goal. So I thought that was definitely the right idea, and we just didn't connect there. I know with Bryant on the sideline, so that was disappointing because it was certainly there, and then on the Hail Mary, just didn't work out there. Kind of had a collision down the field, but just didn't work out. But I thought we gave ourselves a chance.
For personnel to play like that, does a Tristan Smith or a Shefflin make sense to get in, or is there a concern of making sure they can get into the place they need to be in the limited time?
Yeah, I do. Yes, that's part of the decision. Is you gotta. A lot of times people will blitz you or rush you, and you're not going to have very long to even get off a Hail Mary. So, kind of depends on where you're at. I feel like if you're a little bit closer, then that certainly is something you look at. But if you're that far away, you got to at least give yourself a chance to get down there.
With Antonio missing most of the LSU games in weeks 23, how much of a loss was that for you guys' offense, and what has it been having him back with you guys?
It's great to have him back. I mean, obviously he's a great player, and I just think some of the confidence and the presence that he brings is so valuable to our team, and his leadership and just the way that he goes about his business every single day, no matter what. From practice habits, I just think that is such a good example for our whole team and certainly on offense. So, it's a big jolt to get him back in a lot of ways.
Garrett, coaches kind of have to, especially younger coaches, go through their own pains. And, maybe for you, this is one of those times where, outside noise, people are like, oh, the head coach is interfering with the play call. It's not his offense. People say, well, he's going to get on the hot seat. What have you learned about Garrett Riley through all this, and how would you respond to all of that outside chatter that doesn't, necessarily impact how you do your job?
I don't pay attention to any of it, and I'm always going to try and be a great example to our players, and if I get affected by that, if our head coach gets affected by that, then what does that show your players? So, I'm confident in myself. I'm confident in what we do. I know how we prepare. I know how we coach our guys. So, I'm not going to let any of that certainly affect me. I've been in this business long enough. I know I'm young, but I think it's my 13th year. So I've been through some ups and downs already as a young coach. But I think just being true to who you are, right? Just the way I was raised and going to work every single day and happy with who I go to work with. It is a joy to go through times like this. I know it sounds crazy, but to go to battle with these kids and this staff, it's football, man, and it's still the greatest sport that there is in the entire world, and I certainly don't lose perspective of that.
Do you feel like you've grown?
Oh yeah, you're always going to grow. If you're not, then you're falling behind. So I think so. I think anytime you get challenged, you got to dig deep, right? As coaches, as players, you got to really dig deep, and you kind of find out what you're made of. And we're certainly in one of those times right now. But just like I told the players, we're going to have their back no matter what, and we're going to enjoy going to battle and fighting together.
Do you embrace that challenge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have to. It's sports. It's football, and you got to take every opportunity and every challenge. Head on. And just because of our circumstances right now, that doesn't change anything. You're always coaching your ass off, and you're always trying to put yourself in the best position to win, and that certainly doesn't change just because of where we're at right now in our season.
How much has Dabo challenged you guys as an entire staff, just to obviously the results not being what you want?
Oh yeah, there's always challenges. It's a business. We're professionals, and we're big boys. So everybody's going to get challenged, and we got to rise to the occasion, and we got to find a way.
I was just going back to the beginning of the year, but running the ball against LSU, I think Dabo said you guys got away from that a little bit. Do you feel like you guys have adjusted to the balance you kind of want there?
Yeah, I think we've chipped away. Yeah, certainly Adam has come on, and I think we've gotten some other guys involved with some of the perimeter game that we've shown, and that's certainly been productive for us and helped. So, I think we're chipping away and kind of finding our way from a rushing attack.
How would you evaluate the offensive line just in general in terms of their play?
I think it's been probably more good, but we still need to we need to have more consistency there, and that's just been the challenge for everybody, every single position group, is we just got to get more consistent overall, whether it's run game or whether it's some of the pass protection stuff, because we are an older group, we should be more consistent right now, but they're going to rise to the challenge. I know that.
Take one or two more for Coach.
Have you guys started to get into North Carolina film, or have you all just been sort of introspective during this bye week?
Yeah, a lot more internal yesterday and most of today. I mean, we've started to dive into them a little bit from film studies starting today, and hopefully having a few things kind of ready to go for practice tomorrow as we just kind of start to dip into it a little bit. But yeah, that'll really start rolling probably tomorrow.
Any final questions, Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.